So last time we were discussing about time study, and now we are focusing in the time study. Now we are focusing on the rating part of it. So which is chapter 22. So as we all know that when we are doing a time study, we have to choose a qualified worker. Now let's try to go deep and take a case. So let's say there's a certain factory which is having 500 qualified workers. 500 qualified workers, and they are doing same operation with same method under same conditions. So this is anyway a very big assumption, but in order to simplify things, we need to understand this. And the whole operation which these workers are doing is under their control only. So we can say that the machine work or automation is less in that. The time taken to perform the operation can be distributed something like this. I think we already talked about it. So uh, certain number of workers. I think if we look at the previous slides, we already talked about this one. So you can refer to this example back and forth. I'll not go. So the idea was that we need to focus on these set of workers to take them as a standard worker, and these workers would be rated as would be given a performance rating of 100, which basically means that if you are doing your best and if you are lying in this range, you would be given a rating of 100. Now, how does it signify the basic time? So let's try to understand the fundamental of basic time using this. So basic time, as we know, is observed time multiplied with the standard rating, or you can say um, rating. Which, how do we find out rating? Anyone? How do we find out the rating? Yes. How do we find out the rating? No one is telling. Okay. So rating can be given as rating of a standard worker, or you can say output of a standard worker, and in the numerator it will be the output of worker in observation. So output of worker in observation divided by output of a standard worker. So generally, output of a standard worker, you can it's taken as 100. So compared to that, the observed worker rating has to be decided. Then we get the complete rating. This rating which we are going to give to this worker. So if you are making 120 pieces while a standard worker is making 100 pieces, so it will be 120 by 100, which will come out. Okay, so which will come out to be 1.2. So you are anyway going to be better than him. The another concept which this small formula tells is that uh, for a standard worker, this rating would be 1, right? Because the output of a standard worker divided by output of a standard worker, so that's going to be 1. So basically, basic time in a way represents. So then that means your basic time will be equal to observed time for a standard worker. So which in a way implies that basic time can be defined as the time taken by a standard worker to do a job, right? So that's how we define the basic time. And we have also talked about uh, that if we give incentive to the workers in the previous class. I think already shown you that figure. So if we give incentive to workers, they can be, I mean, you make a good incentive plan, so they can be shifted uh, to a standard time, a time taken by a standard worker. They can be shifted to that. The slow workers could be shifted towards that. That's what it meant. So, so we can say the speed at which operative carries out the work is what we are concerned about in this whole talk that we are doing. Uh, so the most important thing is the effectiveness with which this operation is carried out, or the effective speed of the operation is which is indicated by these ratings which we are doing. Now, if the method is not right of doing a certain study, then your standard rating may not be actually representative. कि आप आपने तरीका ही सही नहीं है आपका काम करने का, तो आप उसकी स्टैंडर्ड रेटिंग निकाल के बहुत कुछ कर नहीं पाएंगे. तो आपका मेथड स्टडी जनरली पहले होना चाहिए टाइम स्टडी से, सो दैट यू कैन रैशनलाइज योर मेथड and then do the time study on that and then establish the standards. So what are the factors which affect the rate of working? We can see many factors could be attributed. Can you people say few things working? Now broadly we can say them in, let's say, external factors which are not in control of the worker or the system. Let's talk about them first. So what could be the external factors? Let me start with that. We can say quality, variations in quality, because a worker gets certain workpiece. Okay, his he generally takes, let's say, 10 minutes to work on that certain piece, but the hardness of that workpiece is predetermined. If the quality of that new workpiece which has come, the quality of that workpiece is more than, I mean, the hardness is more than what was expected, he is definitely going to take more time to do machining of that, because the hardness is more. So quality variations, this is external to that, and then it can affect the speed of working or the rate of working. Similarly, can you tell few more things? Anyone? Anyone?
एक्सक्यूज मी सर.
Yeah.
सर क्वालिटी तो मैनेजमेंट के कंट्रोल में ही रहेगी ना?
वर्कर के कंट्रोल में.
ओके.
So it's external to the things which are in control of the worker. Okay. Then we have operating efficiency of tools and equipments. Now you can clearly see that if a certain tool has worn out, what can you do? Means you can't increase the speed of working with a worn out tool until unless management gives you, the supervisor comes and looks at, okay, now you should be changing the workpiece because it's going to be expensive. or a machinery which is doing a lot of vibrations, because of which too much uh, changes are to be done in the setup, or frequent breakdowns are happening, so you can't increase the speed. Similarly, you can say mental attention, if too much disturbance is there in the, if too much commotion is there around the worker, then he will be distracted. Even climatic conditions and surrounding conditions like light, temperature, as you've already seen in that ergonomics chapter earlier, so they also affect the working of the worker. So similarly, we can, I mean, you can also make list of many factors which goes logically. So there are the, how are the ratings? Sorry, I think I need to add more slides. So there are scales of rating. I'll share a screen from another laptop where there's a table I would like to discuss. So you can see there's a table over here where scales are given. Okay. Now we can see that 60 to 80, 75 to 100, 100 to 133, and 0 to 100 is commonly used British standard scale. So description of the activities, like this kind of table should be there in front of the person who's giving rating to the workers. If there's no activity, of course you're going to give 0. If it is slow, slow with certain characteristics like clumsy, fumbling movements, operative appears half sleep with no interest in the job, then 50 rating could be given as per the British standards. So you can see a standard worker has to be brisk and do a business-like performance as of an average qualified worker on a piece of work. Uh, he produces with the standard quality and accuracy with confidence, and the pace of movement of the worker would be generally like 4 miles per hour or 6.4 kilometers per hour. It's not like he has to walk for long distances, but then is for even for abrupt movements or movements on the shop floor, his speed of walking would be somewhat like this, and it has been achieved, it has been established in with a lot of observations by ILO. So that's where they have established it. There are other scales as well, but then this is the most popular one which I'm talking about. And even it can go to 150, where you see exceptionally fast worker and does intense effort and concentration, applies intense effort and concentration. So this can be used as a reference. So how is the rating factor used? Let's try to understand that. So if a person decides that the effective rate of working is above standard, it can be given a factor, let's say 110, 115, 20. So generally, it has to be a multiple of 5, whatever rating we are giving. So it's somewhat like this, in a multiple of 5 is chosen. And we have already talked about basic time. So this is about the rating part. Now we come to the next one, which is establishment of the standard times. So in this selected time, there's a term called selected time. So it is a time chosen as being representative of a group of times for an element of group of elements. So we want to represent multiple elements together which are forming an activity, or a single element with a time called selected time. Now these times may be either they can be either observed time, or they can be uh, basic times. Either of that could be taken as selected time. We will use the selected time word again later. Now work content is another term which basically indicates basic time plus relaxation allowance. Plus any allowance for additional work. So what we see over here, that allowances are coming. Is why are we giving allowances? Anyone? Why do you think allowances are given? This is the basic time.
Sir, because that's the difference between humans and machines.
Yeah. So basic logic goes that a human has to human just can't keep on working like a machine for 8 hours. There are some basic needs of human being. He has to interact also. He has to fulfill his basic needs. Hygienic, we say that hygiene conditions are to be satisfied, and besides that, over a period of time there is inflation, so there's a need to revise the the amount you are paying to the worker over a period of time as well. So we have for that we have dearness allowance in most of the setups. So we can say there are types of allowances. Types of allowances. So types of allowances could be delay allowances, relaxation allowances, interference allowance, and special allowances. So interference allowance. Let's talk about interference allowance first. This interference is something which is obvious, which looks like you know it already. So let's take a situation where a worker is working on two different machines. Okay, now when a worker is working on two different machines, if let's say one machine requires attention, sudden attention, or attention at a time when the other machine is also working, probably the other machine has to be stopped and then the worker has to move to the first machine. So it's kind of an interference which is happening. Now, since the worker has been employed over there, it's quite possible that his productivity may get suffered because of this. So it might lead to loss in production or output where he is not at fault at all. And workers should not suffer because of the low output, because the basic time calculation we are using the rating word, and this rating may fall because of this thing which may happen. So now these kind of stoppages because of the interference could be cyclic or could be uh, random also. Cyclic means after every 20 minutes there will be an interference of the other machine, or after 40 minutes there will be an interference of the other machine. Means you have to stop this machine and go to the next one after every 40 minutes. This is you can say cyclic. And random could be there is no pattern and it can happen anytime. You may have to attend the other machine and stop this machine, something like this. So that's what we call as the interference allowance. So cyclic interference allowances are generally given to workers handling more than one automatic machines, because in automatic machines there's a good possibility that you get cyclic interferences. While if there are breakdowns and all those things, so then that time we give random interference allowance. So we can basically say cyclic interference allowance, and the other one could be random interference allowance. Then we have special allowances. So special allowances, they come under certain special circumstances, and they are not part of any cycle, but are essential for the satisfactory performance of the worker. I mean, the work cycle का part नहीं होते special allowances, but वर्कर की परफॉर्मेंस सेटिस्फैक्टरी रहे इस वजह से उसको ये दिया जाता है, लाइक स्टार्टअप अलाउंस, shutdown allowance, cleaning allowance. So startup allowance is like when a machine has to be started in the morning. Let's say shift is going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning, so it might take 15-20 minutes to start the machine itself. With some adjustments might have to be made, some pressure has to be built in the lines to start the machine, coolant has to be uh, of certain viscosity, then only the machine could be started, something like this. There could be thousands of ways in which the startup or setting up of the machine may take place. Now once the machine starts, it is going to work for another 8 hours, so it is not part of the work cycle, but the startup allowance has to be given, because it's anyway not a part of the work cycle, but it's going to take some time to start, and you can't penalize worker for the characteristic of the machine. Similarly, shutting down the machine may also take some time. Let's say in an 8-hour shift, if you have to leave at let's say at 5 o'clock in the evening, you have to shut down machine at 4:30. So shutting down allowance also has to be given. So that half an hour loss of your machining time is because of you have to shut down, and it takes half an hour for machine to wind up and come up again next day. So that is shutdown allowance. Again, then cleaning. If you don't clean the machine, then also it will work, right? It might give you same production rate for another 1 month or so, and then the problems may arise. So cleanliness is a very important part of the production, although it looks a supplementary task only, but then cleanliness plays a major role in the performance of the worker. Even in your, like, you can imagine, if your laptop is dirty, right, uh, you might still be able to type on it, right? So it's not going to stop you from typing on it. But then over a period of time, if it's too shabby, if your workplace or work table is too shabby, you might over a period of time not feel to work on it. While daily, if your workplace is shining and clean, then you might want to work on it. So that's why you have cleaning allowance. So all these are special allowances. Why we have
So,
special allowance? Yeah, yeah.
so instead of giving cleaning allowances, we can make a special team that cleans the machines after the 8-hour shifts. Like after 5 p.m., all the workers that go home, then a new team comes in and they clean the machines, and it
Well,
doesn't affect the productivity as well.
I mean, it can be done, but then the cost benefit analysis has to be done. You can't just make a, generic conclusion from it, because uh, cleaning is something which a technical person can do, not like you hire a janitor and he's going to clean the machine. Getting it? I think
No,
you,
sir. Yes, sir.
I hope you understand. Because a worker, see, if let assume that you have a table in your household, okay, and someday your mother comes and cleans it. How many of you will be comfortable with that? Not because of the obligation, but because of the technicalities. Only you know where the things are to be kept. So how many of you
Yes,
will
sir.
not be comfortable in doing that? So I hope you're getting that. So similarly happens with the worker as well.
Yes, sir.
He is more aware about the surroundings, how it has to be cleaned, rather than any random person coming and cleaning it. Okay, so
But
uh,
sir, what I meant is, actually, most of the times workers just know how to operate, but they don't know the workings of the machines.
no,
So
they
the technical team is always there in the industry.
over a period of time the worker would know. It's not like worker has no idea and he only knows how to push the buttons. It's not like that. If you go to a factory, I hope you people will be able to go to good factories or have some exposure. If you talk to the workers who's worked on a certain machine for, let's say, 3-4 years, he will be so good in telling you about that machine that you will be surprised that a diploma holder is having an intense knowledge about the machine. So it's not like that. You don't have to go to a college to learn about the
Okay,
machine.
sir.
Yeah. So that is some misconception, that a worker would not know about the machine or will have less technical knowledge about the machine. So in the special allowance, we have one policy allowance. Policy allowance, like dearness allowance, all of you people must be having some idea, because mother, father would be talking about it. That government has increased the DNA, company has increased the dearness allowance, something like this. So it's other than bonus, like your salary, if certain increment in the salary is there, but this increment is because of the policy allowance and not because of the bonus which you are getting, and it is applied to the standard time of the work content to provide satisfactory level of earnings for a specified level of performance. So satisfactory earnings means that over a period of time, if let's say some inflation is there in the economy, so your earnings should increase proportionally with respect to your standard performance. Okay, so for that we have policy allowance. There could be many, like travel allowance is also a part of a policy allowance. Then we have small lot allowance. Small lot. small lot allowance means that generally we've talked about the learning curve, right, earlier. So learning curve indicates that initially when a new work is given, there'll be some cycles before you become proficient in working on a job. कि आपको टाइम लगेगा, कोई नया काम आपको दिया गया है तो इमीडिएटली आप उस पर फास्ट काम नहीं करने लग जाते हैं, और आपका जो रेगुलर पेस है या एक एवरेज पेस है वो नहीं आएगा इमीडिएटली. Probably you might have faced it when you're using some software or something like that. So that's what happens with the workers as well. If certain design is given to the worker to produce, but the quantity in which the design has to be made is not very high, so he may not be able to produce up to his potential because of the learning curve which is not set in yet. So इस वजह से small lot allowance दिया जाता है, so that it compensates for his standard performance or the rating. So you can say वो 100 piece बनाने हैं मान लीजिए. So for 100 pieces much, let's say 20 बनाने हैं, and as compared to 100, so he takes around 10 pieces to understand how it is, so how it has to be made. So थोड़ा time लगेगा, right? It happens with you in mathematics also. You do practice or calculus or whatever. So you do some first time, if you're doing a mathematical problem, you'll be slow in your pace. Second time you do, I mean 10 problems you've done of certain type, that's what you do in practice, right? Coaching and all those things. So it takes time for you to, initially it will take time, but then there's a barrier, you break the barrier and then you get to the real speed. So similarly here happens for the worker as well. So अगर lot size ही छोटा दिया है उसको production करने के लिए, तो वो worker की गलती तो नहीं है, उसको सीखने में time लगेगा. Then that's how it's going to be. So small lot allowance can go up to as high as 15% also. So if you're making specialized jobs, then your special lot allowance will be, small lot allowance will be very high. Then you have training allowance. So this allowance is provided when the work is done by a trainee, and so that he can have some reasonable earnings initially, because the real job is not been given yet, or the kind of output which is expected from a real job has not been asked from him. But progressively this training allowance is going to reduce. Once his training curve or learning curve sets in, the training allowance is going to reduce. Then you have rework allowance. So rework allowance is provided in certain operations where some parts which are made by workers are spoiled. Now let's say certain job is there on which 10 people are working, right? Now in those 10 people, one person makes a mistake and the whole job is spoiled. So he has to make the job again now, a worker which has done his part. So in that way, the rework has to be done on the job. So in a way, he would make 10 pieces in a day, but because of rework, he's making 9 pieces. So different organizations will have their own ways of making the rework allowance. However, this is very subjective and very difficult to implement, rework allowance. Although recommendations are there from ILO, how rework allowance has to be assigned, but it is seldom used in industry. Then we have next, which is contingency allowances. Contingency, actually, I don't know, there's some problem in the screen at this portion where I'm circling. I'm not able to write anything in this spot. So it is contingency. I'll write it again. Contingency allowance. So it is a small allowance of time which may be included in standard time to meet the legitimate and expected items of work or delays. like contingency, something like uh, slight delay because of the rains which may happen. Okay, so you are coming to late in shift at times, so this contingency allowance could be used. So there are some kind of delays which can't be attributed on regular basis, so these are contingency allowances. The precise measurement of the events which are leading to such delays is difficult and uneconomical, and they are infrequent. That's not a pattern. You can say generally this worker comes on time. You can say out of 365 days working days, or let's say out of 300 working days, this worker has been on time on 296 days. Only 4 days he has been late. So that can be attributed to a contingency allowance. You can say that. So this allowance provides for small unavoidable delays as well as for the occasional minor extra work. So it is always less than 5%. Few more things could be added like power failures or short circuit for or tool breakage or getting tools from certain location, because it is not the you are a very good worker, but the tools which you have to use for production are located in a different place in the factory. So you are wasting some time. Your time is getting wasted in fetching the tools in the factory. So there you can, this contingency allowance can play a role. Then you have process allowances. So they are meant to compensate workers for enforced idleness. Enforced idleness. Enforced idleness is something that I have time and I'm just waiting for some work to come. I don't have a workpiece right now because the workstation before me is slower, right? So this is a process allowance, or it is the characteristic of a process or a operation where uh, a work cannot be performed until unless certain other work is performed, and while there is a bottleneck earlier. So I have the capability but I'm not getting a work to do, so that's not my problem, right? So process allowances are given. Or an automatic machine, if you are handling an automatic machine, so it will depend on the speed of the machine. It is going to machine. So if I have to, if it's my whole, you can say, capability of working is dependent on that automatic machine, how much I'm producing. So these are certain instances where you can see. Now, let's see one diagram I'm making. So let's say this is our total allowance which we give. Okay, so not allowance, but the total, you can say, standard time. How is our standard time? What are the components of the standard time? So let's say this is your basic time. Okay. And this basic time has one component as rating factor. Rating factor. And this is your observed time. So basic time is made up of observed time and the rating factor. Then you have relaxation allowance. So your relaxation, if you include in basic time, if you include the relaxation allowance, uh, before we use that, one more we'll have to include. So further, you can say this is your work content, or you can simply work This is your contingency allowance. Contingency allowance, this one. So your work content is defined. So contingency and allowance could be because of your work or because of unavoidable delays. So this is your work content. And this is your standard time. So what is the difference between the standard time and the work content is because if the in your work content you have observed time, or you can say in your work content you have basic time plus relaxation allowance plus the contingency allowance because of the work. And in standard time you have work content plus contingency allowance because of the unavoidable delays. Any doubts in this? Okay, so we can say standard time is equal to normal time plus this part is wrong, plus allowances multiplied with normal times. So standard time is normal time 1 plus allowances, all sort of allowances. So what is normal time? You can say basic time. Basic time and normal time are used interchangeably, but it is normal time is used in the context of a standard worker. So let's take one small example and then we'll conclude for today. So there's a time study which is happening, and in a processed food industry, and let's say technician performance is rated as 120%. And the company policy for allowances is around 13% is allowances. Okay, so first we have to find out normal time and standard time. I think it'll take some time because we have some numbers and all. So I will take it in the next class. These numericals are there. Two numeric. I don't want to hurry. So we'll do two numericals and then we go ahead. So there are a few other things which we can talk about. This numerical probably because there's some data associated with this numerical. So I'll give you some time to do calculations also then. So we will continue our discussion on allowances. I will take the numerical in the next class. So types of relaxation allowances. I'll just remove this. Types of relaxation allowances. You can say it's a fixed allowance and variable allowance. Fixed and variable. As the name implies that one is going to change, one is not going to change. But what are those fixed allowances? So fixed allowances could be for personal needs. Personal needs could be um, like drinking waters, or even smoking is considered, washing hands, going to washroom. And generally personal this allowances are 5% for men and 7% for women, for the obvious reasons. And there other than this, there are allowances for basic fatigue, because this allowance is given to compensate for the loss of energy during working, which is considered generally taken as 4% of the basic time. So all these percentages are the percentages of the basic time. So whatever percent we are talking about, it implies that percentage of basic time. Then we have variable allowance. Uh, Variable allowance basically indicates the allowances which vary from condition to condition. So if the environmental conditions are not good for worker who's working, so poor environmental conditions can cause stress while performing the job. Like if you are working in mining and going underground, so which is you can't improve much about it. So that's where it comes. So these are like variable allowances, you can understand. Okay, so we complete for today, and I'm opening the attendance now.